Hello and welcome to a special and reflective episode of the Smile Code. Today's topic is about power, pride, and when the angels weep. I'm your host, Dr. A.C. Kwedu. Thanks for joining me. Many years ago, William Shakespeare in Measure for Measure wrote, "But man, proud man, dressed in a little brief authority, most ignorant of what he's most assured, his glassy essence, like an angry ape, plays such fantastic tricks before high heaven as makes the angels weep." These are words written more than 400 years ago that feel as though they were written this morning. There are some words we encounter in life, and there are other words that seem to have been planted inside us long before we are old enough to understand why. These words by Shakespeare were planted in me as a child. My mother was a teacher and disciplinarian, and growing up, she had written a passage from Shakespeare on the wall of our home. My siblings and I were expected to memorize it, and so we did. We didn't fully understand it then. How could we? But somehow, even as a child, I knew there was something powerful in those words. They had weight. They had rhythm. They sounded almost like an incantation. But man, proud man, dressed in a little brief authority, most ignorant of what he's most assured, his glassy essence, like an angry ape, plays such fantastic tricks before high heaven as makes the angels weep. Those words have lived inside me ever since, and I have one particularly vivid childhood memory of them. Some neighbourhood children had been bullying us, my siblings and I, that is. I remember them throwing stones at us, calling us names. I was small, and I remember the fear of it, the suddenness, the sting of being chased, the feeling of being smaller than the world around you. And I don't know what possessed me that day, but instead of throwing stones back, I climbed onto a pile of wood. And from my little makeshift stage, I began to recite Shakespeare. "But man, proud man, dressed in a little brief authority." I must have looked completely bizarre. A small child standing on a pile of wood, solemnly declaiming Shakespeare at a group of neighbourhood bullies. But something happened. They bolted. They ran as though they had seen a ghost, and they never bothered us again. I still smile when I remember it. I cannot tell you exactly what those children thought they had encountered that day. Perhaps they simply decided that this particular child was far too strange to continue throwing stones at. But I remember something else. I remember feeling the power of those words before I understood their meaning. Mum must have felt that too, or she wouldn't have written on the wall and ordered us to memorize them. And perhaps that is one of the extraordinary things about the wisdom we inherit from those who raise us. Sometimes we receive the words first. Understanding comes later. My mother, a teacher, had placed those words on our wall and then, through the simple discipline of memorization, placed them somewhere much more permanent, inside us. Decades passed. I became a dentist, a mother, a wife. I experienced success and disappointment, leadership and vulnerability. I watched people acquire authority. I watched people lose it. I watched institutions rise and falter. I watched what power could do in the hands of people who knew themselves and what it could do in the hands of people who did not. And all the while, those words remained somewhere inside me. Today, when I look at the state of our world, I hear them differently. Not as the Shakespearean passage my mother made us memorize, not even as the mysterious words that once sent my childhood tormentors running down the street. I hear them now almost as a warning across the centuries, because Shakespeare wasn't simply writing about one proud man. Shakespeare was writing about us, about power, about ego, about certainty, about what happens when human beings forget who they are, and perhaps more importantly, about what happens when we mistake the things we have accumulated around ourselves, our titles, our positions, our wealth, our nations, our ideologies, our religions, our technologies, even our intelligence, for the essence of who we actually are. Listen again to the opening. Man, proud man. Pride is the starting point. We become convinced of our importance. Then, Shakespeare says, dressed in a little brief authority. What an extraordinary choice of words. Dressed. Authority is something we wear. It is not necessarily who we are. President, king, CEO, doctor, general, billionaire, professor, influencer, religious leader, political leader, even parent. These are garments. Some are important garments. Some carry enormous responsibilities, but garments nevertheless. And Shakespeare reminds us that the authority they confer is both little and brief. Every empire eventually ends. Every administration changes. Every CEO eventually leaves the corner office. Every famous name eventually becomes a photograph. Every fortune eventually belongs to someone else. And every human being, powerful or powerless, eventually relinquishes the costume. Then comes perhaps the most extraordinary line of all. Most ignorant of what he's most assured. The things about which human beings are most certain may sometimes be precisely the things we understand least. Certainty can masquerade as wisdom. And look at our world today. We have never possessed more information, never had more sophisticated technology, never been able to communicate with so many people so quickly. We can speak across continents instantaneously. We can map the human genome. We can send machines into space. We are developing artificial intelligence capable of processing amounts of information that would have been unimaginable even a generation ago. And yet, are we becoming wiser? Are we becoming kinder? Are we becoming more peaceful? Are we becoming more capable of seeing the humanity of someone who disagrees with us? Or are we sometimes simply becoming more sophisticated, angry apes? Because Shakespeare continues, his glassy essence like an angry ape. That phrase, glassy essence, haunts me. Because underneath all the performance of human identity is something extraordinarily delicate. Consciousness, awareness, the mysterious capacity to know that we exist, to love, to imagine, to create, to forgive, to recognize beauty, to experience wonder, to look into another human being's eyes and recognize another consciousness looking back at us. And yet this extraordinary creature, endowed with such possibilities, can become almost ridiculous when intoxicated by power. We posture, we dominate, we divide, we punish, we humiliate, we conquer, we accumulate. We create tribes and then convince ourselves that the people outside our tribe are somehow less human than we are. And because our technology has become so powerful, our capacity to amplify these ancient human impulses has become more powerful too. The angry ape now has algorithms. The angry ape has social media. The angry ape has artificial intelligence. The angry ape has financial systems, political machinery, and weapons capable of affecting millions of lives. Technology has evolved spectacularly, but has consciousness evolved with it? That, I believe, may be one of the defining questions of our time. Because technology magnifies the consciousness of the person using it. A compassionate human being with extraordinary technology can heal, educate, connect, and liberate on a scale our ancestors could never have imagined. But fear, greed, narcissism, and tribalism, equipped with extraordinary technology, can magnify suffering on exactly the same scale. The problem, therefore, is not simply technological, it is human. And this is where I return to something I call the Smile Code. The Smile Code begins with a deceptively simple idea. The outer smile and the inner smile must eventually become congruent. The smile we present to the world cannot permanently compensate for turmoil within, and neither can civilization. A civilization can have gleaming cities, extraordinary technology, magnificent institutions, and enormous wealth, and still carry profound inner fragmentation. In that sense, humanity itself has a smile. There is the smile we present: progress, prosperity, innovation, power, civilization. And then there is the condition beneath the smile. Are we at peace? Do we know ourselves? Do we recognize ourselves in one another? Have we learned how to hold power without becoming possessed by it? Have we learned how to disagree without dehumanizing? Have we learned that being certain and being right are not necessarily the same thing? Have we learned that intelligence without wisdom can become extraordinarily dangerous? This is why the Smile Code has never really been about teeth. The physical smile is simply the doorway. Because a genuine smile is one of the most fascinating human gestures. Before language, before nationality, before political affiliation, before religion, before social status, there is the human face. And across cultures, the authentic smile communicates something ancient, which is, I see you. I recognize you. For this moment, you are safe with me. Perhaps that is why the smile matters so much. It is a tiny act of recognition between two consciousnesses. And recognition is the opposite of dehumanization. You cannot easily reduce another person to an enemy, a category, a race, a religion, a political label, or an abstraction when you truly recognize the human being standing before you. The Smile Code therefore asks us to move beneath the facade, beneath identity, beneath performance, beneath status, beneath certainty, to ask, who am I when the costume comes off? Who am I without the title, without the money, without the followers, without the political tribe, without the applause, without the authority, without the need to be right? What remains? Perhaps that is Shakespeare's glassy essence. And perhaps humanity's greatest challenge is not acquiring more power. We have become astonishingly good at acquiring power. Our challenge is developing the consciousness capable of holding it, because power without self-knowledge becomes domination. Intelligence without wisdom becomes manipulation. Technology without humanity becomes machinery. And certainty without humility becomes fanaticism. But power joined with consciousness can become stewardship. Intelligence joined with wisdom can become illumination. Technology joined with humanity can become liberation. And difference joined with recognition can become peace. This is where the Smile Code ultimately leads for me, to Pax Humanica, human peace. Not merely peace treaties between governments, not simply the absence of war, but the recognition that beneath every costume we have invented, race, nationality, ideology, status, religion, class, we belong to the same astonishing human experiment. 8 billion expressions of one humanity. Imagine if our technological evolution were accompanied by an equally ambitious evolution of consciousness. Imagine if we taught self-knowledge as seriously as mathematics, emotional mastery as seriously as economics, discernment as seriously as information, compassion as seriously as competition. Imagine if leadership were measured not simply by how much power someone could accumulate, but by how wisely they could hold it. Perhaps that is the next human frontier. Not Mars, not artificial intelligence, not immortality. Us. The unexplored territory of human consciousness. And perhaps Shakespeare understood the tragedy 4 centuries ago. Because after describing proud man performing his fantastic tricks before heaven, he doesn't say the angels laugh. He says, the angels weep. That distinction changes everything. Because the tragedy isn't simply that human beings can behave foolishly. The tragedy is that we are capable of so much more. We can create beauty. We can heal strangers. We can forgive. We can build civilizations. We can compose symphonies. We can hold the hand of someone who is dying. We can sacrifice ourselves for people we love. We can look at suffering thousands of miles away and feel compassion for someone we have never met. We can choose peace when vengeance would be easier. That is also humanity. Perhaps the angels weep because they can see both possibilities: the ape and the angel, the ego and the essence, the facade and the authentic self. And every day, individually and collectively, we choose which one we will express. So perhaps the question for our time is not, how powerful can humanity become? We already know the answer: extraordinarily powerful. The more important question is, can our wisdom catch up with our power? Can our consciousness catch up with our technology? Can our humanity catch up with our ambition? Can we remember who we are before the costume convinces us that the costume is who we are? That is the work of Smile Mastery. That is the invitation of the Smile Code. And ultimately, that is the possibility of Pax Humanica. To know ourselves, to master ourselves, to recognize ourselves in one another, and from that recognition, perhaps, to create peace. Because maybe the future of humanity will not ultimately be determined by the most powerful person in the room. Maybe it will be determined by whether enough of us remember the simplest truth. Before we are anything else, we are human. And perhaps when we finally remember that, the angels will no longer have reason to weep. That's a lot to unpack, isn't it? Please like, comment, or share if this episode resonated with you. Until next time, this is Dr. A.C. Quaidu from the Smile Code. Remember your humanity always, keep smiling, and let's keep the peace. See you soon!